Oh, I wholeheartedly know that the older generations have no comprehension whatsoever as to what the younger ones are going through, and it seems that with the same growing dichotomy between us all, that same void is being filled more and more with Lucifer himself.
I got a Porsche, no take it back. I'm on the block with the killers and holding my own, of course. Yeah, I see my mom and dad separate, ain't talking divorce. Said daddy was living by the fire, and he died by the torch. I'm with the AKs, we like the baby kids. Ain't ever daddy, I listen to suckers the same way that Ray did. I'm throwing Smithers and HKs, and I just was a grade A kid. Ain't no guy, and we grew up with hitters and did everything they said. Point out the block, we spinning that. Running the spot, we getting that. Give us some work, we flipping that. I'm hitting from jail, ain't hitting back. I need a lawyer, money for commissary, ain't nobody ain't sending that. I'm in my cell, like when I get out, I'm making a movie, no Cinemax.
What's up? Some of you may know me by my social media handles, Foot Prodigy, Official Foot Prodigy, probably see them. Honestly, I've got so many names by now, it's getting hard to remember them all. Regardless, my name is William, and for quite some time now, I've been wanting to make this video. See, a perfect society is supposed to have an interconnection of unity amongst all its members, but it's becoming more and more apparent that that's just not the case in the world we live in today. Everyone wants the lone wolf life, self-isolate, and with that being said, there's no connection amongst the generations we have today. I mean, I don't know how it used to be in the older days, but I like to think that there was a sense of connection and unity regardless of age. Nowadays, that's just not the case. So for my generation and the ones that have yet to be born, they can flip back through the history books, looking back in the time prior to days, months, years, decades, centuries, and so on and so forth to see what came and existed before in order to know about that era of life. But the older generations don't have that same luxury. I mean, you guys didn't have some Stargate within the school to give you an insight as to how the future would pan out. The good book always warned us that times would get worse, but I'm willing to bet that you all didn't foresee it as being this bad. Additionally, you can't skip ahead in the book that's still in the process of being written and expect to read the story because that part of the book has yet to be written, so all you'd be reading is the blank pages. And that's where I come in. You all get to experience our generation with looking at it from the outside in. See, the problem with looking at things through a lens from the outside in is that you never really get to experience life on the inside. I could spend all of 2025 binge watching Oppenheimer on repeat, but that doesn't mean I understand what it means to have a front row seat watching Hiroshima. Some things you just gotta experience firsthand, and frankly, I have yet to experience that. But hey, who knows? With an impending probability of World War III in the near coming future, I'll probably be able to check that off my bucket list. Now, for those old folk watching this, I'm willing to bet you'll probably get your news from a phone or local news network, right? I mean, who the f actually reads a newspaper these days? That's like using a fax machine to send a meme. Regardless, every time I turn on the news, it's always some 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes even a 70-year-old giving the same recycled news story on loop, and most of that bullshit has little to no correlation to my generation as a collective. Does it affect us? Yep, well, obviously. But I mean, if you go into a restaurant and you jack the thermostat up to 90 degrees, everyone in the restaurant's going to be sweating their nuts off before the end of the night. But that doesn't mean you guys are sitting at our table, having our conversations, engaging with our discussions. No. Translation: breaking news, whether on Fox or CNN or wherever the hell you guys get your news from, it affects everyone in all generations, both domestic and foreign. World news affects everybody, especially breaking news, because somehow it's always breaking. But that doesn't mean you all old lot are in our shoes having to cope with everything else going on around us in our generation. You're not navigating the same environment we do. You're not having the same conversations we have. And honestly, I really wouldn't expect you to. I mean, it'd be rather weird if some 60-year-old man was regularly engaging conversations with a bunch of teenage girls. Someone might get the wrong idea. What you all witness on the news somehow still surprises you all, and for us, that's just a regular event taking place. I honestly don't know how you would react if you were regularly bearing witness to that of what we see on an hourly basis. Furthermore, most of our news comes from social media, and before you make the hypocritical assumption that news on social media is biased and pushes an agenda, ask yourself, how is it any different from watching any news network? All those networks are owned by people who have biases and agendas of their own accord. The difference is with social media, any given person can whip out their phone and record anything at any time, any day, anywhere, and if you ask me, that seems pretty non-biased. See, our news from social media can be compared to a pyramid per se. At the top, you have YouTube. Now, YouTube is like listening to a news anchor live in an event. YouTube is everything from every other social media platform, as well as worldly events with people of all sorts reacting, sharing, explaining, and breaking it down for their audiences. There's also alternatives to YouTube, such as, Truth Social, Rumble, Discord, Twitch, etc., but nothing's really rivaling YouTube anytime soon. Underneath that level, you have the simple content creating platforms, even though YouTube is a content creating platform in and of itself. Underneath YouTube, you have platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and a few other spin-off media platforms. And then underneath that level, you have the bottom level. The same level is comprised of platforms such as Twitter, now X, Threads, Reddit, but for the most part, these are just communicating platforms at the bottom. And that's basically our news pyramid of our generation. But you also got to remember remember that our generation is fried in the head. Most people nowadays of my age has an attention span equivalent to a goldfish, which is about 3 to 5 seconds. So there's also that to take consideration. So ultimately speaking, there are many things to which I know you all have absolutely no clue on whatsoever, and instead of leaving you poor souls in the dark like a bunch of lost puppies, I would rather seek to bring you all into the light that is the reality, which is Gen Z. Alright, that's enough of the setup. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, and let's be honest, this isn't your grandma Sunday brunch conversation with Grandpa whistling Winn-Dixie in the background. This is a cluster of shit I wholeheartedly believe the older generations all need to be made aware of. So buckle up, buckaroos, and strap into this roller coaster of enlightenment, because this shit is about to get uglier than your high school reunion, and there's no open bar to make things any better.
Maybach music.
Some paper, no, pen and blind,
I'm the type to loaf your wife and f your baby mama. Bought so many, I made the plug, change the price on numbers. I'm in Florida with iguanas, you play them gators coming. I'm really tied in with some Z's, yeah, them Haitian zombies. She like to ride with the chopper, she my type, that shit get me hard. I done got out my body, popping on what you call it, send me the mall. I told them this shit large, scribble bitch treat me like God, play her part. I can tell if you a trapper or a fraud, yeah. Cybertruck got a man of his own, put itself in pause. I got that type of ice, don't need no light, shit hitting the dog. I got these rappers doing everything I do, I'm making them all. The type of nigga come kick the door down, take some before I starve.
Maybach music.
Chapter 1. Dating? Dating? We're starting chapter 1 with dating?
That's what we're starting with.
Man, why are we If we're starting this video with dating, then this video is going to be f***ing bullshit. Let's get one thing straight here. Dating in 2025 is like trying to play Monopoly with a bunch of ADHD kids who've never really read the rules, and you think you're winning, and then BAM! You're bankrupt, and you don't even know how you got there. Oh yeah, you thought this was going to be a sweet romantic chapter. Nuh-uh. It's 2025, and dating is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded, and every time you think you've got it, the damn thing explodes. So if you don't know by now, most of my generation is completely comprised of money, drugs, gangs, violence, and sex. A whole lot of sex. As you could probably witness in the last video, with the amount of nudity you see everywhere. It's not just online, it's in person. It's at the restaurants, it's in churches, it's in the gym, it's in clothing, it's everywhere. It's shoved down our face like a regular daily pill you take, and it never seems to stop. So if that video did make you uncomfortable, that's good, because we're making progress. Because my aim is to pop that bubble of comfortability you all have been so longingly existing in. Because if you're going to put out the fires of this world, you're gonna have to be comfortable dealing with a little bit of hot temperatures. First of all, the concept of dating feels like an ancient relic from a distant time. You might as well book a tour on the Smithsonian and find whatever ancient history textbook dating belongs to, because it really just doesn't exist anymore. It used to be there was a simplistically condensed plot of beginning, middle, and end. Used to people would meet in school, first date would be a movie or picnic in the park, and then, you know, third, fourth date, you pop the question. No, not that question, the, you know, would you be my girlfriend, or, you know, whatever question. Now, it's like trying to buy a car on Craigslist, lots of options, lots of red flags, and absolutely no guarantees. You won't get sent a rock. Okay, if you're still not following along, let's just break down what dating boils down to, yeah? I always give the library analogy. You go to the library to get what? Go ahead, you know, buzz your answers in as we speak. If you buzzed in library books, you're still not getting it. See, people don't go to the library to check out books. Translation, girls in the United States nowadays don't date for the purpose of dating. They date for every reason in the book. Yep, see what I did there? They date for every reason in the book except for the actual purpose of dating itself. If you're still not understanding me, here's a few ideas as to why girls date. Free meals. Dinner's on you, right? I'm just here for the appetizers. Thanks. Oh, you didn't think I was gonna order the most expensive shit? Too bad. Social currency. Gotta look good for social media. I mean, I can just Photoshop the personality bit later, right? Emotional support animal. I just need someone to listen to while I complain about my mom, and my dad, and my dog. Everyone really, but mostly my mom. Practice for actual relationships. I need to figure out how not to f this up before I date someone I actually care about. Like, how do I pretend I like you for 30 minutes without seeming like a complete psycho? Netflix and just chill. Oh, you thought this was a movie date. No. I need a roommate for the night. Someone to press play on while I pretend to care about the movie so I can make it awkward with non-consensual cuddling. Or at least that's the plan. Don't act like you didn't see it coming. Boredom. I have nothing better to do, so why not meet someone to kill the time with? Literally. Validation. I just need someone to tell me I'm pretty, even if I don't actually like them, but, you know, you better not touch me or I'll call the cops. Messing with someone else's head. Let's see how much I can confuse this person without being caught. I'm a sociopath, but, you know, in a cute way. You think I'm into you? Nah, I'm just having fun. Filling the void. I'm just looking for a temporary distraction while I work through the external crisis. What's that? You like candles? I like being emotionally unavailable. The casual hangout. We're not dating. We're not even friends, but somehow we both end up in the same room pretending we don't hate each other's existence. It's the, let's hang out without commitment. Super healthy. And if you're still not up to speed, you know, all of these things listed are just a few dating hurdles guys have to jump through. We haven't even discussed the precursors. Refer back to my analogy on the library, right? You know, you pick a book because it has an enticing cover, right? Well, that's the same thing, you know, to be implemented with dating. You approach a girl or pursue them initially because something about, you know, how they look fits the description for being your type of girl. But approaching women nowadays is like walking into bear traps of gotcha situations because you approach a certain type of girl, expect her to rant about it on TikTok or Instagram or her cult of a following just to accuse you of violating your safe space simply from you asking for a number. Yikes. Or maybe instead of the number, she gives you her Instagram alternatively. And when you think you've met, you know, a nice, pure, God-fearing, wholesome woman who enjoys, you know, good brunch, a walk in the park, maybe even some soul searching and reading, you see it. The click the link in my bio. Now, for those of you still living in the dark ages, aka people over the ages of 30, let me enlighten you. The click the link in my bio move is the modern equivalent to a neon sign that says, "Welcome to my digital strip club. Cover charge is $4.99 a month." I'm sure you're familiar with the hub, yeah? Well, you know, imagine the same exact thing with the simple production of a handheld device. You're not about to share a cup of coffee, you're about to get a backstage pass to an OF show. Welcome to the modern dating scene where romance is a suggestion and the real actions behind a paywall.
They don't know about OF.
They don't know about OF?
Developing at noon, the parents of an OnlyFans model. New details surrounding the
We have new
OnlyFans
developments in the
drama in Lake
OnlyFans
County.
model
A
murder
total of
case.
8
She's an
kids are now
adult
kicked out of
on the website OnlyFans.
They'll then start an OnlyFans.
There's this 8th grade teacher and her 4th grade teacher husband who lost their jobs for filming an X-rated OnlyFans video.
No longer allowed to volunteer at her kid's school because of her OnlyFans page.
How does it feel to have a sister that has an OF?
It's been a year since I started my OF.
OnlyFans has become one of the most talked about platforms
to basically monetize their bodies.
It's sort of like an online artificial girlfriend service. It's about send nudes. It's about hookups.
Wait,
you do OnlyFans, how much do you make?
And these women make an extraordinary amount of money.
Thinking about how much money you'd make on OnlyFans.
My name is Sophie Rain, a content creator on OnlyFans. An astonishing $43 million more money on OnlyFans than many of the NBA's biggest stars.
Woo. And let's be real, when she gives you that link, it's like she's handing you a VIP ticket to a world of content that your mom probably would throw up at. Now, for the other attractive girls that don't have the Magnum subscription, I mean, the premium subscription, don't get too comfortable because the content on her Instagram isn't that far off from it either. I'm talking about the girls who post a bunch of photos that make you think that they're auditioning for America's, you know, Got Talent. These girls don't have a link for their adult content, they've got a link for their Cash App because why show your cleavage when you can just show your Venmo balance, right? They have that pick me mentality, which you'd probably rather choose the adult star over. So if cold approaches don't work, what does a young man do to get a woman? I'm so glad you asked because that's exactly where dating apps fall in place. Ah, the magical world of dating apps, where the only thing more superficial than your swiped right relationships are the photos people use, filtered to the point of looking like an entirely different human being. Many times when you finally go on that first date, I mean, if you go on that first date, she's not even remotely close to looking like her profile picture. She only comes for the free meal, sayonara to you after she finishes eating, and you end up looking like a dumb And that's only for the girls who actually end up sticking with the plans that are laid out prior. I mean, do you know how many times I've been stood up, gaslit, led on, deceived? I mean, am I that ugly? Now, you heard me correctly. I did say if you go on a first date, because that's the problem. Females want their male counterparts to be in the 666 club. Gotta be 6 foot, gotta have the six pack. Oh, and you gotta make 6 figures, because some girls actually want 7 figures, and some even want 8. So if you are like me, then 6 figures might seem like the amount of money you spend on coffee every month, but no, to them it's all about that fancy job title. Oh, and it better come with a 401k and a house with a 2-car garage, preferably a Tesla or 2, parked out front, because nothing says I'm serious about you like having an electronic car and absolutely 0 personality. Oh yeah, did I mention that you must be this tall to ride this ride? Yeah, you still gotta meet those height requirements, and due to inflation, 6'4" is the new 6 foot. Must suck to be 5'10". Oh wait, that's me.
No, you're 5'9", bro.
Because apparently every modern woman is auditioning for the NBA Wives Club and needs a man who can dunk on her emotional baggage. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're 1 Nobel Peace Prize away from curing cancer. If you're not tall enough to see her over the crowd at Coachella, you're completely invisible to her. So for the remaining percentage of girls who aren't attractive, who aren't involved in adult content, who don't regularly post promiscuous content, and who aren't part of the requirements club, you know, and who aren't some ticking time bomb on social media psycho that's waiting to go off, you still gotta figure out which goods are used and which aren't. Let me explain it to you in this way. Imagine you saved up your entire life savings to go buy a brand new car. You've arrived at the car dealership, and the only information you're presented with on the car is the price tag. No Carfax, no Carvana, no Progressive. You know, you get to discover all those details on your own, detective. So you may set out to buy a brand new car with a saved up $50,000. Come to find out that car has well over 200,000 miles. Translation, you can work your entire ass off from dusk to dawn to have a good physique, good hygiene, good presentation, and promising future, and start dating what looks to be a promising woman just to find out she's been ran through by the entire university. You pick it up what I'm putting down, and it's not uncommon for women in the United States nowadays to have body counts of 20, 50, 70, and even triple digits too. And one girl is going for the 1,000 check mark. I think she actually broke that check mark.
Her name is Lillian Phillips.
To a woman named Lily Phillips, 100 men in one night.
Planning to sleep with 1,000 guys in 24 hours.
Who was about to sleep with 100 guys.
Really an OnlyFans prostitute.
I don't think anyone's parents would want their daughter to smash 100 guys.
1,057 men.
Stop dating men. Divorce your husband.
If you're a single woman, you should be dating more than one man at a time.
Highly recommended to date multiple guys.
You should date multiple men.
Anyone.
2 to 3 men. Objectification is a dehumanization of women. These men are viewing women as if they are something that they can just fuck.
If the guy doesn't want his girl to dress a certain way, he must be very insecure and probably have trust issues.
Your man is getting on to you about what you can and can't wear.
They got small dick energy.
This gives small dick energy. Small dick energy.
I think a man should be proud of anything. Like, there's my woman and she's doing whatever
I don't want to settle. I'm not going to settle.
Not settling for people who do not deserve us.
When feminism becomes male bashing, that's toxic.
Not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
Y'all been trash. Y'all been trash.
Men is absolutely not a necessity.
This is why I hate men.
How would you feel about your daughter doing sex work?
Oh, I would be supportive if my daughter chose to do anything with her life as long as we're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, we're living in inflation, so a body count of 10, 20, sometimes even 30 is the new Virgin Mary, but hey, who's judging, right? It's funny how some people treat relationships like trial subscriptions, free for 30 days, cancel anytime. Meanwhile, guys are out here wondering if they have boyfriend number 6, or 76, or 606, debating whether to buy flowers or, get tested. The dating scene in 2025 feels less like romance and more like a casino. Everybody's gambling on connections, but most of us, are left broke and confused and wondering why we even sat down at the table in the first place. But let's be honest, most of us are just the aftermath of a wet fart and a bad decision, hoping to get noticed before we completely rot away, because this single life sucks.
Yeah, I had mixed reviews on the color. Some people said they like it, some people said they don't like it, and I said, well, what color's your Bugatti?
I'm on my way to an island and I'm probably shit at the pilot. Niggas be broken, be sobbing, but still talking shit like they violent. They say that they honest, how money these niggas gon' say that they got it. Getting out with the kid is success and these niggas gon' blame it on college. They don't wanna see you win. They don't wanna see the race. You don't wanna see a bitch caught up in the stars like you out of space. Mention that they kinda red dimension and I'm running out of space.
Chapter 2, Social Media. This seems to be the bread and butter of my generation, as discussed in the intro of this video. Social media, the digital playground where we're all just chasing likes like they're the last scraps of food in a famine. Older folks think that, we're just having fun, posting selfies and sharing memes, completely oblivious to the fact that we're slowly bleeding out inside one filtered photo at a time. It's like you all handed us a knife and called it a spoon, then stood back and wondered why we started cutting ourselves. Most of my generation is stuck in a dopamine loop, seeking validation like crackheads, looking for the next hit. And don't act like you all are any better. I see old folks all the time doom scrolling on social media like there ain't no tomorrow. Which brings me to my first point, body dysmorphia. Welcome to the funhouse, folks, where your self-esteem is shredded by filters, angles, and the constant comparison to people who don't even look like themselves. I don't believe the older generations understand the damage is done by the endless parade of perfection shoved down our throats. It's a full-on psychological car crash, and the only thing that we can do is hit the gas and hope the wreck doesn't kill us before we, get the perfect selfie. Oh, and here's the kicker. Body dysmorphia is one of the top 5 reasons people get cosmetic surgery, and the sad part is they don't even realize they're getting cut open for a problem that exists in their brain, not their body. It's like buying a brand new car to fix the brain tumor. The surgery doesn't help. It just gives you another filter for your already broken self-esteem. But hey, who needs therapy when you can throw money at your problems and make it look like you're having your shit together, yeah? Studies show that 45% of women and a disturbing 25% of men report body dissatisfaction after just 30 minutes on Instagram. That's less time than it takes for most of us to ruin an entire weekend. We're out here scrolling through perfect people with perfect lives, and we're all left with is a gut full of regret regret and a credit card filled with I need to fix myself purchases. It's a beautiful reality. The perfect storm of self-loathing, consumerism, and a constant reminder that you'll never be good enough, and we pay for that privilege. Teenagers feel the need to look perfect, so what do? They dive headfirst into a pool of editing apps and diet plans, convinced that if they can just get their waistlines to look like the Instagram models they see in every other post, maybe, just maybe, they'll feel worthy of the likes they crave. Welcome to the digital age, where no matter how good you look, you're never good enough. And that's just body dysmorphia. Now let's take a step back, alright? Let's talk about social media scamming. No, not the I'm gonna steal your money and run kind, although that does happen, but the kind that slithers its way into your life with a smile and a tagline like, wanna level up, become the best version of you? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. These scams have names like fitness coaching, dating gurus, and life coaches, and they all promise the same thing, the secret to your success, but spoiler alert, the only thing that you're getting is a lighter wallet and the emotional equivalent of being kicked in the gut. Let's start with fitness coaches. These assholes are out here charging ridiculous sums of money for a month's worth of personalized training plans, and you get the same template they sell to 10,000 other clients. They'll throw around terms like macros and gains, but deep down, you know, they're being sold a watered down, impossible to follow diet plan with instructions that read like a riddle, and when you fail, it's because, you know, surprise, dieting isn't a one-size-fits-all miracle. You get the classical response, it's all about consistency, bro. Yeah, consistency in failing for the 5th time this month. In reality, most of these assholes are popping PEDs like Skittles, claiming they're all natural just to make you look like a dumb dog chasing its tail, thinking you've magically achieved their jacked up physique when, spoiler alert, their natural body is about as real as a unicorn riding a rainbow through a field of kale. Then we have the dating coaches. These are the creeps who promise to teach you how to unlock the mysteries of attraction and bag your dream girl or guy, because it is 2025 and we're all inclusive here, people. They charge you $200 for a 30-minute phone call where they, you know, just tell you, just be confident, like you didn't already know that. But the kicker, they'll drop a punch of buzzwords like alpha mindset, high valued man, and game, expecting you to pay to learn how to be yourself, but better. It's like paying a therapist to tell you need therapy, but hey, maybe you'll get 10 tips to master the art of looking good in selfies thrown in there just to seal the deal. I mean, and then there's the worst of the bunches. I'm talking about the red pill, black pill wannabes. These are the guys who think that they've unlocked the secrets to life, but they can't even unlock their own front door without a struggle. They're out here selling you the idea that the whole world is against you, and that the only path to success is a toxic stew of bitterness and flexing your alpha male status. Yeah, these dudes really think that they're the next messiah, ready to guide you out of the matrix, but honestly, you know, they can't even get their own laundry done. And let's talk about the red pill philosophy, which is basically just an excuse to wallow in your own self-misery and blame everyone but yourself. These people act like they've cracked the code, but the only thing that they've cracked is their fragile egos and getting rejected by every girl, you know, who could smell their desperation from a mile away. They'll tell you to stop simping and get the bag, but the only bag that they're really getting is full of bullshit, and they're trying to sell it to you because it's like a luxury brand. Spoiler alert, you're not leveling up, you're just getting hustled by a guy who's trying to sell you the same loser mentality that he's been stuck with for the last however many years. It's the same tired song. Don't be weak, bro. Escape the matrix. Be a man. And by being a man, they mean isolating yourself, downloading a bunch of self-help videos from dudes who are just as miserable as you are, and pretending like everything wrong with your life is someone else's fault. You're not stuck in the matrix. You're stuck in a toxic feedback loop of self-pity and bitterness. But hey, at least you're, you know, in a community, right? You're not alone in your misery, except, you know, no one's actually helping you. They're just there, existing in the same bullshit bubble, passing around. And in the end, you realize you've paid for the privilege of being told the equivalent of a fortune cookie. The best version of you is just around the corner. Now, for those of you tuning in who've already surpassed your, youth, you're probably sitting there thinking, with the wisdom you've accumulated over those years, trying to wrap your mind around why the younger generations cave into social media dysmorphia, pyramid schemes, and all the other garbage that follows. But here's the thing. Everyone buying into this BS has the mentality of a toddler with a sugar high. It's not like we've got the gray hairs and mileage on our face to back up our so-called wisdom. We're all just stuck in the digital age equivalent to a toddler's temper tantrum, screaming at the world because we don't know who the hell we actually are. When you were young and dumb, you didn't have this 24/7 ring of fire surrounding you. You didn't have Instagram feeding you messages of influencers looking like they just stepped out of a plastic surgery assembly line. So yeah, when you're sitting there thinking, what the hell is wrong with these kids these days? Remember, you didn't have to fight your way out of a TikTok-induced existential crisis while trying to figure out if your life is worth less than the guy's flexing his bicep and his multi-million-dollar car. You didn't have digital circus of madness, and guess what? We're in the front row seat, popcorn hand, watching the train wreck unfold. Now let's talk about what happens when a man simply exists. As a man, you want to live up to that, natural alpha instinct that's been hardwired, into you ever since creation. Assertiveness, dominance, leadership, yada yada. And suddenly the internet and society are trying to crucify you, for it. It's like we're being told don't show any emotion, but, also at the same time, don't show any strength. Just be neutral, passive, and blend in. Meanwhile, anytime you act on your natural biological instincts to lead, to protect, to, compete, you're called everything from an arrogant prick to a full-blown monster. Why? Because apparently you're a threat to the world where mediocrity is celebrated and vulnerability is the new gold standard. This is the up paradox we're living in. And there are a ton of women nowadays that advertise, promote, and call for males to be more emotional. There's a great dichotomy between male emotion and female emotion. Females will tend to be more expressive emotionally in terms of sadness and remorse by consulting with their friends and talk amongst themselves to get over their emotional trauma. Fair play. Little Jimmy, sitting quietly all in the back of the class by himself, may decide to convey and express his emotional trauma and sadness in a much different manner. And the funny thing is that once Jimmy's incident hits the news, everybody will blame toxic masculinity or gun control or toxicity in males as if those are the things to blame. No, you dumbass. Furthermore, women want the alpha male, but any moment you show any ounce of that alpha, you're labeled as a toxic asshole. Because truthfully, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, because if one is truly masculine, he wouldn't be toxic. And if he were actually toxic, then you can't be masculine. The world needs masculine men, and yet it punishes us for even showing up. Embracing your masculinity today, it's like getting the shit kicked out of you for just trying to be yourself. You can't even speak your mind anymore without some faceless algorithm or woke NPC ready to pounce on you. Say anything that doesn't fit in with the New World Order agenda, and boom, you're silenced. It's not about freedom of speech anymore, no. It's about freedom of obedience. So if you're wondering why I can't say certain words or I have to bleep them out, it's because of, that exactly. If your words, your actions, or your existence don't align with the sanitized, societal, accepted narrative, they'll cancel you faster than a villain in a superhero movie, but instead of a dramatic death scene, you'll just get deleted and replaced by some soy-sipping, gender-neutral bot who can't even spell alpha without Googling it. Morals, commitment, honor, yeah, those things are just as dead as a dodo in a blender on a Friday night. Oh yeah, we live in a world where, nowadays people say they'll do something, and the only thing that they're doing is the best impression of a professional liar. It's like trying to rely on a broken vending machine that only gives you Doritos when you paid for Coke. People promise the world, but what, you're actually getting is a bag of disappointment sprinkled with a side of, I really don't feel like it, bro. It's almost a sport nowadays to cancel plans. You're sitting there ready to go out, mentally preparing yourself for a night out, and bam, you get that text. Sorry, bro, I'm just not feeling it tonight, and oh yeah, oh sure, you're not feeling it, but I'm pretty sure the only thing you're not feeling is the inconvenience of leaving your damn couch. People cancel plans now like it's, part of their personality, like they're, collecting points for it. And don't get me started on commitment. Remember when people used to say, I'm gonna be there no matter what? Nowadays it's like, yeah, I'm down, but only if the vibe is right. Commitment today means I'll show up if you send me a reminder, and even then I, just might bail if there's a cooler option on TikTok. Real hardcore, huh? And real commitment, that's reserved for people who still believe in Santa Claus and paying their taxes. It's absolutely everywhere. People just don't honor words anymore. People just do whatever feels good in the moment. If the moment feels slightly uncomfortable, it's like, nah, adios. This is the me first culture. People don't do what they need to do, they do what they feel like doing. Who cares if you're late for work? Who cares if you let down your friends? Who cares if the world needs you to stop being a lazy piece of shit? Whatever, you're just here for the ride. It's all about your comfort, your pleasure, your immediate happiness, no matter how you everyone else over in the process. God forbid you actually stick to your word in today's society. That's almost a crime because people look at you like you're the crazy one because you actually value your commitments. You're the weirdo who shows up on time, calls when you say you will, and follows through with what you promise. But hey, it's easier to be a shithead and act like a virtue these days. You do you, boo. Forget about what you promised anyone. Forget accountability, forget integrity. The world's your playground and everyone else can just deal with it. We live in an age where everyone is a self-proclaimed king or queen sitting high on their throne made of likes, follows, and self-proclaimed wisdom from a book they never really read. It's like society took a giant shit on accountability and decided to take a selfie. You know the type, right? Those walking ego trips that live their lives like the world's most expensive app, constantly showing off the latest version of themselves, but you can't upgrade because you're stuck with the cheap version of humanity. I mean, you see these people all the time, worshiping themselves like the golden cow. It's like they're all staring at their reflections in a broken mirror, desperately trying to convince themselves they're worthy of being worshipped. These are the people who think that throwing up a selfie with some half-hearted caption about loving yourself somehow makes them the next Buddha. People these days have developed a mastery in the art of self-absorption. Oh, and don't forget, it's always someone else's fault. They live for the validation of the digital world because without that dopamine trip, meanwhile, you're stuck wondering, when did we all start worshiping the most unoriginal versions of ourselves? Now let's talk about the collapsing family structure we've inherited. Oh yeah, that good old concept of family. It's slowly been eroded like a sandcastle during high tide. I mean, families used to mean something, right? Parents would actually give a throw down some discipline and occasionally drop some wisdom that might stick. Now we've got a bunch of emotionally stunted adults raising kids who, don't know the difference between a timeout and a Netflix binge and still call it parenting. It's like they handed us a broken compass and said, find your way, but we're not gonna teach you how. So now we're all just stumbling around trying to figure out life on our own without a clue, just like a toddler running around with a butcher's knife. And heaven forbid you call someone out for being a parent. Nope, that's too much. Now family means throwing your hands in the air, pretending everything's fine while you secretly are drinking your face off in the garage at 2 a.m. while your kids are out there learning life lessons from YouTube and TikTok. Kids don't even know how to talk to their own parents anymore, let alone have conversations that aren't awkward as hell. So here we are, left to pick up the wreckage of families that used to have values like loyalty and responsibility and love, now replaced by whatever the latest TikTok trend says is cool. Instead of coming home to a wholesome meal, we come home to an argument over who's doing the dishes and who forgot to like mom's Instagram post. And let's not even talk about holidays nowadays, where everyone's trying to avoid the family drama while simultaneously being forced into a Zoom call because someone's too busy. The values we used to give a about. It's a generation of people who think loyalty is just a hashtag, honesty is just a meme, and commitment is the name of a joke they don't really understand. And why bother with any of it, right? I mean, it's easier to swipe left than actually put in the effort. We've all become walking, talking contradictions, living in the moment, but never actually living. The sad reality is we're all too busy worshiping our own reflection in the mirror. We've completely forgotten the mirror is cracked. We don't even know what the we're looking at anymore, but hey, who needs morals when you can have a new iPhone, a fresh new vape pen, and a new social media feed? Congratulations, we're definitely the generation that's just, too officially scared to actually live life, but we're good at pretending we're killing it online. So let's raise a glass to the death of morality, because at this point, the only thing we're loyal to is our next dopamine hit. Cheers to being the most self-absorbed, morally bankrupt, Instagram-filtered disasters the world has ever seen. Welcome to the final chapter, where we pull back the curtain on a generation gap. Spoiler alert, it's a f***ing chasm. And congratulations on making it this far, and if the videos, my verbiage or what we discussed makes you uncomfortable in your, little bubble of comfortability, that's good, because that's the whole f***ing point of this f***ing video. See, people don't change their actions, their beliefs, etc., when they're comfortable. I mean, if you're sitting at home on a couch inside with the AC set to your liking, you're not going to be motivated to do anything. There's nothing like lighting a fire underneath someone's ass to get someone up and at it, because you've all been living comfortably in 70 and 80 degree temperatures your entire life, and now that I show you what 50 degrees feels like, you want to complain and say that it's cold. 50 degrees is not cold. Translation, like what I've shown you guys is not that bad, especially in regards and in retrospect to that of what we get bombarded with on a regular basis. You guys are just used to that because you've been living in your comfort zones for too damn long. All I have to do is show you the tip of the iceberg from our generation, and that alone is probably enough to generate levels of discomfort for you all. The reason you all have no knowledge of this is because, you don't want to accept that's how up the world actually is. And the problem lies with that it's your own goddamn obligation too. Here's the thing. The older generations don't understand the younger generations, and you guys never will. And I don't understand this whole, taking your hands off the wheel mentality. I mean, so let me tell you something. If you're all driving your destination, you're 50, 60, 70% of the way there, you decide to take your hands off the wheel and expect your new destination to be getting sent back to the lobby and meet your maker. It doesn't matter whether you're 55 years of age with a wife, kids, and a, white picket fence lifestyle, or you're a senior citizen with 9 toes in the grave. The world's going to keep spinning regardless. Generations are going to continue to be birthed in this world like an endless assembly line of future screw-ups, and time, that's just not waiting for you to get your shit together. It's going to continue on regardless, and you all keep pushing the narrative like, we're in the end times. Guess what, Grandpa? We ain't even close to the end. And believe it or not, it's going to be the mentality and mindset of believing that we're in the end times that actually causes the end times to come about. It's the belief that actually will cause it. Kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy if you think about it, like telling the kid that they'll never amount to anything and then be shocked when they turn out to be a f***ing criminal. If you keep sucker punching people with the belief that we're all doomed, guess what? No one's gonna want to work. They'll just want to throw the towel in. If I told you tomorrow we're all gonna die because some asteroid's coming to Earth like it's doing the speed limit in a school zone, you wouldn't want to go to work. You wouldn't give a shit about paying your taxes. The only thing you're gonna care about is what you can eat, drink, and before the world ends. And that's exactly why people act how they do today, and why they have bought into the end of times meme and decided to give up on their responsibilities, like they're buying a one-way ticket to Lazy Town. Now, why would they care about any ounce of responsibility when they're fearful into believing their hard work will just evaporate with the coming apocalypse? I mean, you all keep preaching we're in the end days, and in reality, we're not even close. If anything, this is like the precursor to all that. I mean, all we've done is show up to the race, tied our shoes, taken our starting positions. The race hasn't even started yet, and the gun hasn't even been fired yet. And even if it is the final days and Jesus decides to roll up like, oh hey, I'm back, guys. Guess what? Doesn't matter. North is still north, south is still south, and you still have responsibility to not be a piece of shit in this world. You still have responsibility to do right in this world, and the responsibility doesn't end until you're 10 feet under. Doing right as the older generation means guiding the younger generations on a much healthier, happier, and brighter path. But you're not going to be able to do that if you're not involved in the younger generation.
What did I say? Even the purest of souls can be corrupted. I've had no need to influence humanity for many millennia. I simply introduced sin. Man is the one who has spread it like a disease.
Living in glory, living notorious. Eat a little fish, a little chicken, go gym, nigga, living like warrior. Feeling like Morpheus, I gotta make a nigga forfeit his. That's very unfortunate. I take a beat to make a feast of it. I'm unleashing shit, reminiscing why the reefer lit. You see what happened when you recommit. Nigga, picture this, mind, body, and a soul divine. Got everything that you need inside. You gotta ease your pride. I got keys, I can lead the blind. You won't believe how I beat the odds. Do you believe in God? Bang, bang, nigga, in the gym, no. Boy cut like Freddy Crew, slice like Kimbo. I'm a lamp in the benzo, fish tanks on the window. Fuck nigga Frito, I'ma get him cause I know I got him. I'm in a Jeep with the 2.8 bottoms, I'm getting UK dollars. Riding around with some spiritual shotters, and we'll lift somebody's spirit about it. Ain't really worried about it, working more and saying less. Easy as the alphabet, I'm like, hey, H is amazing. Say me a spot at the top with the greatest. Actually active with accurate aiming. I'm happy elated, I'm blessed and I'm favored. Be all you can be for the beast. Gotta unleash, never retreat. Gotta believe, fly to believe. Me and the queen, privacy please. You gotta see for the ceiling. I want them misses look way more appealing. Pushing my limits, in love with the feeling. Count up a million and slice a percentage. I'm paying myself, E for the ever. With me never, I'm way too clever. Foot on the pedal, feel like Mandela. Clean as Consuela, smooth as vanilla. F is for feather, flourish together. Nourish the weather, people get jealous. Keep it repelling, fuck what you selling. Shit is pathetic, we gonna